that we should have another round of how much does it cost? Did I get the name right that time?
How much does it cost? That's correct.
I think we should go straight to this one because I think this is a good one.
Can I get another tissue, please?
Okay, I'm going to give everyone
the hand sanitizer also
a hint.
Given I'll need it after.
Here at the Atlantis, internet, also not free.
Thank you.
It is free, I believe, in a room they call the library on specific computers that are open till 8 p.m. every day.
That's not good.
Charge you for the internet here. Now, 1 day of internet is $19.99 here at the Atlantis. How much does it cost for 1 week of internet?
A 7-day internet pass.
First 5 answers will be accepted. Closest without going over shall be the winner. 1 week of internet, wireless internet, that is.
And I think another clue is remember the gym figures. It was $15 per day or $50 for the week.
Correct.
Right? So $19.99 for a day for the internet. So how much for 7 days for a week-long pass? PCALive is the hashtag on Twitter that you need to be using.
Gold.
Guess he's kind of a scaredy cats.
Better.
No.
He is. He's
You've
only
opened the
showing one
floodgates.
every time.
Am I really?
Because you're like flipping
So-
up one for a second and then just like spiking it. I mean, I'm just gonna start doing the same thing if that's what you're.
Some tweets are coming in, but I don't think they've really grasped the fact that a day costs $19.99, so a week is not going to cost less than that.
Have I been trying the good ones or the bad ones? I have no idea what I've been doing.
How much for a slice of pizza? $4.
Well,
How
I'm
much
not
for a
saying
whole
you're doing it
pizza?
deliberately.
$2.
Very well could be
Sold.
Yeah. To the right? Okay.
Okay, now we've got some serious suggestions coming in. But I want to stick by the rules, Joe, which is the first 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. This is what happens when, like, my Twitter thing goes a bit mentals.
I kind of feel like for this one we should change the rules.
Okay.
Just get the person who gets the closest, since
okay,
it's
well,
such a big
let me just
number.
read some samples then. This one
Sure.
from Mike, $99.
Closest so far.
Steven, $75.
Closer.
Let's see, any advance? Oh, who's this? This is Raish, $120.
Closer. I don't know if we're going to get much closer than that.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, Aaron, $122.
Closer.
I think Aaron's got it at 122.
Sold to Aaron at $122. The internet for 1 week here at the Atlantis Resort, $123.65.
A nice 13% discount if you bulk buy for 7 days.
That's right. Buy for 7 whole days. You get that whole 13% off. Huge value, huge savings. And at least it works amazingly well. I will say that one of my favorite things that happens every year here at the PCA is on Sundays, walking through the lobby of the Coral Towers and just seeing it is filled, packed to the gills with people playing the Sunday tournaments, sitting on the floor on every piece of furniture. It's like, I don't know, it's like there was a fire drill or something.
Because that's where the free Wi-Fi is, right?
It used to be free in the lobby. I don't think it is anymore.
It still is.
Is it in the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay. You know those baller online poker players. Cats is raised, ace-9 suited. Seifert defends with queen-8. Ace-high still good after the 10-high flop. Cats has been blown off of every hand where he hasn't paired, and even some where he has. Seifert picks up a diamond draw on the turn. Cats picks up a wheel draw. Still has the best hand.
Sorry, I was laughing at Jamie's suggestion.
Cats giving another free card.
$490 for the week.
which is more than buying the days individually, which, you know what, I think I've seen that some places, just not to that extent. Katz does make his wheel on the river.
But Scott has nada.
Scott's got to realize that an ace is a huge part of Katz's range. Wow, and he is going to try to bluff at this.
Call.
Really small bet.
Oh. He said call.
Quick call.
Yeah. Like, what'd you say? That.
Scott bet less than 20% of the pot. Nice try, Scotty.
Katz now up to 17 big blinds.
I think if you're going to bet it, a small bet there is going to work just as well as a big bet. You're either getting called or you're not. So taking a weak stab, I think is just fine.
There's where they stand right now. Stephen has just emailed us, nuts@pokerstars.tv. He says, great commentary. I've been with you from the start. Brilliant. You've given me all I can ask for from a poker tournament. I'm following you from the one place you didn't think you had any fans, the small island of St. Lucia in the Windward Islands.
St. Lucia, one of the good ones. Finally, one of the good ones is written in.
How are we still four-handed?
Feels like we started four-handed. It is incredibly bizarre with the stack sizes that everyone's hung on this lawn. I think some of the blame belongs to Doc Sands.
Thank you.
Just not really being very aggressive. He's flopped a gut shot here. It's possible everyone's waiting out Kerry Katz, but he is not doing them any favors. Or at least the boards haven't been. Check, check on the flop. Seaver decides to try to take the lead here. This board connects with all kinds of suited connectors.
There's the call from Doc Sands. Pairs is 9 on the river. That's not the card he wanted to see.
Lots of straights out there.
That is what we call a straighty board.
Technical.
This might be the last hand of the level. Blind's going up in 25 seconds.
Just depends how long Doc tanks for after this bet. Sands rivering a pair.
By the way, Miguel, you didn't hear correctly. The internet is not $122 per day. That's per week.
$123.65 per week. Which is oddly more than I make in a day.
Yeah, and that's fair observation, by the way, from Andreas about Doc Sands. He says, we're four-handed because there's a player who does not push with the stack he should, and that freezes the action. Actually, no, I think he's talking about Kerry Katz.
Two players at this table should be more aggressive. IMO. But it has been working out just well for Doc.
He
Yeah, I was
folds the
gonna
river.
show that, man. There.
Show the second one. There you go.
That's why I spread it. Don't worry, don't worry.
Scott, so you've had ace jack.
Seems like these two have worked out some kind of system as to how they're showing their hole cards to the camera.
2061.
You guys want to just freeze the blinds at the previous level?
No.
Kind of a silly level.
What's the level?
612. With a 20 ante.
Oh, good. Okay. Not silly when you're poor.
By the way, Krishnan on Twitter has asked for the dates of the next live stream from the PCA. Yeah, we've got the final table of the main event for you next weekend. That's on Sunday, the 13th of January.
No, that's just freeze the level at the old level. It's the opposite.
Kicking off
Oh,
at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we're back the next day, Monday the 14th, again at 2 p.m. Eastern with the final table of the 25k high roller. And don't forget, you can watch now on your mobile devices. Download the latest version of the PokerStars TV app, available for both Android and iOS devices, assuming that they're up to date and all the software's up to date and all that jazz.
Need to get my money back from Scott.
120 to call.
So as you heard Scott Seaver discussing with the rest of the table, the blinds are up to 60 and 120,000 with a 20,000 ante.
His request to freeze the blinds, denied.
One to freeze the blinds.
No.
I don't think it was a genuine request, but he kind of threw it out there.
Now, you may be a World Series champion. You may be one of the architects of the poker boom, but Chris, please don't speak till I've introduced you.
It's okay. It's all right.
No, I can speak.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't think so.
Moneymakers in the house. Yeah. How are you, Chris?
Well, I was a lot better until I just got scolded by like 5 people trying to get in this place.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't have my credentials, so the lady up front was going to break my arm, and then the lady coming back through this door wanted to see my credentials. I'm like,
You didn't drop the line, "Don't you know who I am," did you?
I did.
Oh, no.
No, I didn't drop the line. Give me a break.
Hatcham told me he did it one time, and he was never more embarrassed of his own behavior in his life. He said as soon as the words came out of his mouth, he was like, "Oh my God, I am such a jerk."
You know, I used the line once in a game just as a joke.
Okay.
But I would never. It was never,
ironically is fine.
Yeah, it was definitely ironically. A guy 4-bet me, and I was like, "You know who I am." So who's winning? Doc still?
Yes, Stock out in front with 6.4 million. Seaver playing a stack of around 4 million, then Shulman with 2.8, and Carry Katz 1.5.
I haven't watched much of this, but I did walk in. I saw Katz was all in with Queen 9, and that's the only hand I saw. So he's done quite well since that point.
He's been all in several times, and he's got lucky a few times as well. But he kind of keeps doubling up from 7 big blinds to 15. You know, it's kind of like he's never really getting.
He doesn't get to play. He just gets to play. He's just sort of hanging on.
That would be an accurate description.
Scott's done well. He was not doing as well when I saw him.
Well, the really bizarre part is he doesn't even really fold his way back down the 7 big blinds. He does a lot of limp folding and call folding.
This is the 100K buy-in, yeah?
Yeah, it sure is. Good question, though.
I was making sure I was on the right commentary here.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, next door they're doing the open-faced Chinese, and then across the hallway. No, in all seriousness, this is the only live stream available.
Yeah,
you say these things, and then suddenly people take you seriously, and then they're asking, "Where can I watch that?"
Well, I think he's more commenting on the limp folding with 10 big blinds happening in a 100K tournament.
A little different strategy, but it's obviously working for him. He's here in the Final Four. There's more than one way to play poker.
We've been trying to find creative ways to describe it as well.
It's a pretty creative way. It's, you know, thinking outside the box. That could be the new thing in 2014.
It's always evolving. Sands still best with king high. Checks behind. Nothing really too exciting for either player here.
This is gripping action.
2075.
I want to say this is the first real legit stab at a pot we've seen without much in a long time.
Everybody been playing pretty straightforward.
It feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been four-handed for forever, Chris. I mean, I don't know whether you saw any of the early action, but the first 3 players went out in the first 7 hands.
No, I've not. Literally, I saw that one hand. I was waiting.
The moment I saw how
I've been
good
doing
hand was,
fun
the moment I
interviews
saw
all
how good
day,
a hand was, I was
so I
like,
haven't been
this
able to watch anything.
gonna need
I
They're,
saw
work-
one hand.
they're working you for your money again?
Yeah, they're putting me to work. Not as hard as you guys are in here, but I'm still doing some work.
Yeah, so after 7 hands, we were already down to 5 players. Then they were 5-handed for about another 50 hands. And as we can see, Sky's doing pretty well to crawl up over 4 million now.
So Kerry can fold about 5 more rounds, and then he's going to move all in again?
Yeah.
You got it.
Or he can let fold 1 or 2 more times?
20 any month.
Yeah, it's 20.
You know, and Doc
23
Sands
2K.
was over 100 big blinds for most of the tournament. You know, obviously now with the blinds going up, he's down to around 50. But I can't think of a big pot he's lost, really.
Well, he started the day with that chip stack, didn't he? So, I thought he started with like 6 million, didn't he?
Yeah, about 6.6.
So he's basically where he started the
Yeah.
day with. He's just been hovering.
I mean, he's definitely been around 7.5, maybe even close
He
to
got up
8
to 8. He
before.
got up over 8 at one
Yeah.
point.
Well, when every pot's $1 million.
It's funny because at the start of the day we were thinking this is a very similar situation to the super high roller we had in Monaco last season, where Justin Bonomo had 45% of the chips and just crushed, dominated, and it was over in no time at all. Doc Sands has played it a very different way.
And he hasn't eliminated anyone, has he?
0.6.
No?
It's more fun the other way.
Well, especially if you're the guy doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacks for Siva.
I'm all in.
All in.
And that will quickly get 2 folds. So, Chris, have you played anything yet, or have you just been kind of chilling and doing the interviews they've asked you to do?
Chilling, doing interviews. Waiting to play the main event tomorrow. So I made it through day 1A today. So excited about that. And you know, just wait to play tomorrow.
How many of your entourage is here, a.k.a. family?
I am by myself this year.
Wow.
This is the second year this has happened for me. Every other year's been the family. Last time they didn't show up, I got 11th. So
Between me, you, and everyone listening on the stream, do you prefer to have them here or not have them here?
I love my family, and I wish they were here.
Oh, that's really nice.
They might hear this later.
I thought you were going to say, I love my family, but God, no, please.
Actually, I've been home for a month, so it's actually nice to get away. I do love that they come when they do come here, because they do have it's a fantastic place for a family. And when I was leaving, my girls were like, we want to go. But we took them to Disney World right before Christmas. So they got their trip. And
So you have your fill of overpaid vacations?
yeah, I paid enough money at Disney and didn't feel like paying enough. The reason they're not here, honestly, is my oldest is in school now in the real grades and can't really pull her out of school to come down here. So that last year might have been their last trip.
So Chris mentioned that tomorrow is day 1B of the main event, meaning that today is day 1A. Of course, we've got loads of side action as well. I think it's worth mentioning, Joe, that there was a 2K Turbo yesterday that was won by a gentleman by the name of John DeBella.
That's right. You may recognize the name since he won this whole thing last year.
It's a pretty good way to start 2013.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you break out the rest of the trip, it's nice to have a win locked up to start off.
Yeah, I should have played something, I guess. Actually, I mentioned to my wife I wanted to play the 100K or the 25K, and she looked at me and just said no. Didn't even discuss it, just no. Like, okay.
So I see it's a democracy in your household.
Yeah, I have a lot to say.
Almost every guy I know, the woman is in charge. And usually it works out better that way because they're the one making the more rational decisions.
I don't
When it
know
comes to
about
stuff
that.
like that.
I think I'm pretty rational.
Please tell me that Katz is not considering a move that doesn't involve open shoving.
Oh, a min raise. Is that a min raise?
Yes, it is.
Is this now? This is new. A min raise. Is
I
new?
love the fact he's actually put the raise on top of the dealer button. Or is that just an optical illusion?
1-1.
That would be hilarious.
So
No.
does Katz not play very often?
Yeah, he is what you would call an amateur. He does have a couple of scores, but he's a guy that's done very well for himself, obviously, outside of the poker world. He owns a student loan corporation.
I'll show you one, Nick.
He looks familiar. I think I've played with him before.
He loves giving away
Yeah.
information.
You made a good play again.
By the way, for those of you who've been observing the watch that the dealer at the feature table, or rather the final table, is sporting today, I believe that this gentleman is Sean Harris, who tweets as Sean the dealer. So if you want to send him a tweet and ask him where he got that watch, I'm sure he'll be able to provide you with that information.
Sean the dealer. He's one of the good ones.
If you could,
Kachalov has come to Rail Shulman. Phew, they're
Oh,
still friends.
Well, this is awkward.
They're still friends. That's really
Wonder
good.
if he and Elke got in a fight. Maybe that's why Eugene's shown up here.
We were a little bit worried that like Kachalov and Shulman used to be best buddies, and then Elke came along, and maybe Eugene and Nick don't get to spend so much time together now. So it's nice that Eugene's come here with a kind of Elke lookalike character to rail the action.
I thought it was Elke at first, to be honest.
The Parmesan cheese
Why
head
not give it another
threw you
shot?
off.
Well, I got a root for Shulman now. Just, I mean, it looks like he's had a lot of pain in his life. His best friend left him, and he's wearing a Cleveland Indians hat. I mean, life's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleveland's main export is crippling depression. I think I asked Eugene, you know, what his and Nick's status was, and you know,
Well, it
obviously he
changes
went
so
ha ha
rapidly.
ha
It's hard to,
at
like-
first, but then eventually told me. I think he said that Nick wasn't really traveling much anymore,
I still can't count his chips. I don't,
but
I don't
glad he
carry
made
his
the trip here.
I don't carry his
But
stacks.
he's glad too at
I'll
this
get him
point.
Stacks of 30. How about that?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's happy to be here
Yeah.
at this point.
The point is that it does change rapidly, so it's hard to follow unless you can identify.
Are you
it.
talking about those stacks?
Yeah.
I think they should have to be in 20 stacks, but I didn't want to say something. They can be in 30s.
It can be in anything that we
30,
can count.
any
They can be in
denomination that's
40s.
consistent.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Once again, see, Kerry just wants these guys to
How many
like
stacks
him.
of 34s?
More chip stacking controversy on the tour.
Are they controlling how he stacks his chips?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never seen someone ask to stack your. I mean,
Take 4
Oh,
off.
well,
I mean,
you
stacks
you
of 30.
missed, and you will see it, Chris, because I know you watch every single episode of the EPT we produce. Juan Lu and John Juanda get into a little spat at EPT Barcelona because Juan does not keep her chips in stacks of 20, and Mr. Juanda is not a happy camper.
Juanda did not keep his stacks, and
No, he does.
He does. But
Juan doesn't, and so John calls her out over it, and he's not happy. He is not happy.
so if I want to tilt Juanda, I just keep my chips in stacks of 22 or 25 or
To
30.
be honest, Chris, I think he was flirting for the most part.
Well, that's what you do. You pick on the girl, right?
Exactly. He was throwing rocks at her.
My experience with girls, it works better if you throw chips.
She will be more fond of you.
Yes.
May respect you a little less, though.
I think Shulman probably asked him to play slow because he had to go to the restroom.
He doesn't have to ask Doc Sands to play slow.
I know. I've played with Doc Sands, yes.
775.
It is sometimes very grueling.
It's Doc Sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives while we wait for you to tank.
Yeah, you would think he's pausing for the camera, but he does this all the time, so it's just his thing. But yeah, when you're playing on a table with him, you have to bring a book.
Do you have a book yet?
Yeah, I've read a couple books last year.
Not read, wrote.
Wrote?
Yeah. You got a book out yet?
Yeah, I wrote one book.
Well, tell us about it.
I mean, you could be the one guy to buy it. I don't want to ruin it.
Is it that short?
Yeah, it's called Moneymaker Winning Tournaments.
There you go. A little blast from the past. That's probably what it is. I forgot about it by now.
No, it's actually an autobiography. I wrote it like in 04, and I decided that after the experience, I said that's going to be the last book I write.
Yeah, so Doc Sands almost up to 9 million at one point.
Yeah, he's the lowest his stack's been all day.
Now, is this statistics obviously for today? Because Scott Seaver was down to 750 at one
He
point.
was indeed. Now back up to 5 million.
Or
Shulman's yo-yoed as well.
5,000, as we like to call it.
500,000.
5,000K.
Oh, he made it.
He did make it.
Raise 3-bet fold.
And he gets the recap from Sieves.
Very polite table.
Everyone does seem to be having fun, which I always appreciate.
Well,
We're still playing a game.
you've already made a couple 100,000, so it's easy to have fun.
Good point.
But poker's supposed to be fun anyways. I always have fun when I'm playing, even when I bust. It may not look like I had fun when I busted, but...
In those few seconds, maybe it doesn't look like you had fun.
Yes, when I bust and someone asks me for a picture right afterwards, I still smile.
Sure, you can have your picture, you son of a...
Amazingly, it happens quite often. Right when you bust, someone will ask for the picture. It's almost like bound to happen.
Because they don't know that you have feelings. And they think that, you know, the money you won in 2003 is still sitting in your bank account, like exactly the exact same amount as it was back
that's
then.
the good thing is my 10-year reunion, I get my one time again. Someone told me.
Oh, you get a new one time?
Yeah, I get a new one time.
Oh my God, that's gonna be great when you win again.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I can't wait for Chris to win the main event a second time. Oh, that's this year.
Yeah, you see, you're onto this now. Why aren't they not showing me Doc Sand's hand?
Oh, because
No,
he's not
that's-
showing us.
Exactly. That's more about Doc Sands depriving the camera of his hole card information.
Well, how am I supposed to read him?
That's something you should take up with the doctor. He and Scott Seaver have this thing where generally they're reticent to do it until the hand is over.
So Seaver has the best hand now.
We think.
No, he has the best hand. Guaranteed. And he's going to bet 310,000.
Chris has exactly half the pot. There's 250. No, maybe it's 350. 350.
Oh, I was wrong.
Pretty close.
This analyst stuff's so easy. They pay all for this? Not enough.
There are minimums
I know I've worked with you guys in the past.
we have to be compensated for. Certain labor laws must be met.
You must get a raise when I come on. What do y'all have for the Doc Sands time?
That's it. That's my stopwatch.
I'm tempted to start working my way through some tweets and emails, to be honest with you.
We see his hand.
We do see his hand.
Are you seriously thinking about calling? We just
I
ace high?
don't know if he's thinking about calling. Maybe he's thinking about putting in a raise here, trying to blow Scott off that. But I think it's going to have to be a pretty big bet to do it. I think if Scott's 10 being good was so obvious to us here, it's probably pretty obvious to Scott as well.
Scott's not folding.
I assume if Doc thought Scott had a 10, he wouldn't think about raising. But maybe he is just thinking about calling.
I mean, it's a possibility you could call here and be good quite often. I mean, I'm assuming that it was probably min-raise pre-flop and no action up until the 10.
He folds.
I don't see why it took that long to fold, to be honest.
Let's get some tweets then, shall we? Irviston says, I know Joe's not interested, but you will be. Maybe Messi will win the golden ball again. No one from the Premier was nominated.
Guess what? You got 3 guys in this booth who are not interested.
What's he talking about?
Soccer.
He actually won it again, I heard, by the way.
Oh, Chris Moneymaker does
I know everything.
know soccer.
Almost tied at the top now, just 10,000 between it.
Those are 20s.
Sands no longer with the monster chip lead.
I love your freeform.
And these
style,
blinds
Gary.
are shallowing out.
I don't complain about how slow David plays. Exactly. See?
Burn.
Everyone has their little things, and you choose to accept them all or none of them. No one is perfect other than me.
Now, wait a minute. That was my line.
Christian says, Chris, what events will you be playing at the PCA, assuming, of course, it doesn't work out for you in the main event?
Well, it's going to work out in the main event. So,
Okay, I love the confidence.
To be honest, I don't look at the side events until after the main event's over.
Fair enough.
If I start looking at side events, then I might see something I want to play, and I just don't want to do that. But I do know there's like a Zoom event and a heads-up event, so I would expect to be playing those.
Scott Severs bumped it up with ace-4.
Raise and take it. Luke says, is there a no headphones rule for players on the TV table? That is true. Whether it's a feature table or a final table,
2.3.
headsets are not allowed.
Some tournaments don't let you wear headsets after you make the money. They take all electronics away from you.
AJ says, going from watching PCA Live to the NBA is like switching from a Coen Brothers movie to a Tarantino
How's
movie.
Fabian doing? You sweating it?
Well, both are pretty good, so
Exactly,
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
There's Kyle Julius. He's been on this stage before. Last year's main event. Runner-up.
Confirmation that Scott Seaver has taken the chip lead for the first time all day.
What happened?
After 142 hands, we have a new chip leader. Doc Sands now second on the leaderboard.
Kyle's wearing a Notre Dame jersey. Well, I wonder why.
When does the game kick off, Chris?
I think right now, and I'm in here with you guys.
Okay.
Wow.
Sorry, did that sound wrong?
Worst
mean?
luck. Okay.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Moneymaker.
We've got 37 minutes to the
That's
dinner break.
Look, I chose to come in here.
37 minutes to the
We're
dinner
happy
break,
to
Chris.
have you.
Worst case scenario, you missed the first quarter.
That's a pretty bad scenario. You know, to be honest, I was actually supposed to be in here from 8:45 to 10:15. That was my time allotment, and I wasn't really happy with that time allotment. I enjoy your guys' company, but that would have been bad for the game.
It's all right. We want you to be happy. We're here no matter what.
I don't mind being a second to the BCS Championship. That's fine.
I didn't mind doing it, but when they offered the earlier time slot, I jumped on it.
Now that Scott's got the chip lead, he's getting a little loose. Flop's pretty good here.
Now that he has the chip lead, he's getting loose. I've played with Scott. He doesn't have to have the chip lead to do it, but it's a pretty good flop for him, obviously.
Cut shot and a flush draw.
I love the fact that so many people get tilted whenever you call the game soccer.
Do you get blown up on Twitter for calling it soccer?
I don't. I get blown up on Twitter for calling it flippin' boring.
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter. I have to almost unfollow you periodically, but it's okay.
Oh, really?
You're pretty funny, actually. You have some good one-liners. You're a lot funnier on Twitter than you are sitting in the booth.
That is absolutely true.
That's because he's uncensored on Twitter.
I think I razz on you harder than anybody else in here, but you make it fun.
I make it pretty easy.
It's enjoyable.
Actually, I'd put it to a vote. That's actually a fair point that just came from our producer, which is, who is harder on Joe in the booth, Chris Moneymaker or Fatima Maria de Melo?
Don't forget Barry Greenstein.
No, but you and Barry have that whole kind of like, back and forth.
Weird, creepy uncle
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. I actually think, Chris, as hard as you are on Stapes, that Fatima is the only person I've ever seen make Stapes.
She Barbara Walters the heck out of me.
You were literally speechless after you'd been de-Melo'd.
I have to go back and click on this one. I got to say that.
She asked me why she somehow got out of me that I had invited an ex-girlfriend out on a trip and asked me why I was using her. To the dozens of people who were listening at the time.
Actually, this is actually on in the little, but there are a lot of people listening to this.
Here in the building. Yeah.
Listen, there's a Twitter blow-up over here. I say, uh-oh, Seaver just hit a sand. But Sands doesn't have anything, so it won't matter. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Well, that's what we want. We want you to make guesses. We want you to guess.
It's not really a guess. Scott doesn't, or Sands doesn't have anything. I mean, my guess would be Sands has like an ace-8, missed straight draw, or he might have like a pair of sixes.
Scott's thinking about bringing it on down to Valueville.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get any bet.
Welcome back, by the way, to those of you who lost the stream momentarily. Apparently there was a 30-minute drop in service. Our apologies for that 30 seconds rather. Sorry, there was a 30-second drop in service. So apologies to those who had the black screen of death. Hopefully we're back with you now.
This moneymaker. The Sawami.
An 8 or a 6.
There's the 8.
And the ace with it.
Even when he shows the camera, we can't get it.
Well, we got half of it.
Well, Rob Axis actually asked us about proper football. How about RG3? Oh, we were watching the game yesterday in the bar, and obviously when RG3 did his knee in, Fox decided to replay it from every single angle. Hiding under the bar, Joe Stapleton. I can't look at that. I can't watch that.
I don't want to see a guy blow his knee out.
There's so many ways I could go with that, but I'm just gonna.
Like I said, I just throw them right up there. Make it easy for you.
It's a family show. There are 18-year-old kids watching in the lounge in there. I was playing last month, and a kid beat me in a hand, and he follows it up with, you know, I was 11 when you won the main event.
Ouch.
Wow, thanks.
Ouch.
I feel pretty old.
I had a similar experience. I was home for Christmas, and the kid from across the street came to say hello to my mother. And I asked him, I was like, oh, do you go to the high school? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I graduated in 1999. He's like, oh, I was born in 1998.
So wait a minute, I'm older than you?
Sweet. Yeah, maybe can't be by too much.
If you graduated in 99, it's more than I want it to be. You don't age very gracefully.
It's not the years, it's the mileage.
2-2.
Shulman moving all in from the button with ace-6 suited.
I thought I heard an all in. What is that, 10 big blind? No, that's my math's not very good, but it's like 15 big blinds maybe. Ooh, tough one.
Sure is.
He was the last stack, or was there cat stacked as well?
Cats was in the big blind, so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's tough to. Plus, that was such a big portion of. I guess they're all pretty shallow here. That's a big portion of Seaver's stack too.
So just to recap, for those of you who may have lost us for a few seconds or maybe a couple of minutes, and apologies once again for the technical problems we've been experiencing. The chip lead has changed at this final table. Scott Seaver is now in front with 6.2 million. Doc Sands second on the leaderboard with 4.6 million. Shulman and Katz bringing up the rear. 2.5 million for Shulman, 1.37 million for Katz.
The good thing is you only missed like 2 hands because Doc was thinking through most of it.
30 seconds may not even been a full hand.
They must have missed that one hand that Seaver and Doc played.
Is Carl Julius getting a massage on the rail?
Sure is. Love that guy.
Uh-oh, we have an all-in. Now, with ace-9, he min-raises, and with ace-jack, he just ships.
And there's the call from Doc Sands. Pocket fives. It's a race. Ace-jack for Katz. He's got 2 overs and needs to hit to survive. Once again, Carrie Katz finds himself at risk. This is the 97th hand of 4-handed play. Will it be the last? Or will we finally lose Carrie Katz?
Slightly better than 50% chance that we lose Katz. Let's see if he lands on his feet this time.
No ace or jack on that flop.
I got the flush draw. How about a 2 of spades?
2 of spades would be a pretty good card for Katz.
Or the deuce of spades,
Okay, jack.
as some of us call it.
in this spot, I feel.
Well, that's what the professionals call it.
Give me a 2. 2 ball.
Close, but it doesn't bring any draws on the turn, so it has to be an ace or a jack on the river. Cats drawing to 6 outs. It's a 9. So Carry Cats is our 4th place finisher. We are finally 3-handed in this Super High Roller tournament. Cats will collect $543,800. Everyone's now locked up more than 740 grand. Remember, the winner will take home $2 million. And right now it's Scott Seaver with the slight chip lead over Doc Sands, who's back up over 2 million, after over 6 million rather, after eliminating Carry Cats.
Now, it will be interesting to see if the dynamic changes here at all now that we've lost the quote-unquote amateur and, you know, the guy who is sort of the perceived short stack for pretty much all of four-handed play.
I wouldn't expect it to change too much, just because, I mean, Schulman's pretty short as well. And he knows, you know, I think the guy, personally, I think the guys are a little bit more worried about Schulman because he knows his shoving range is more than Cats would. Cats is just, you know, looking for big cards where, you know, Schulman has a stack where he can reshove over top. So
Look at the hat.
I think it'll probably stay about the same. And also, they're all pretty shallow at this point.
Blinds have caught up with them, that's for sure.
How much do you have, Nick?
Literally the
Yeah, I
best.
mean, 50 big blinds, you know, they lose the all into Schulman, then
Let's say, what about Major League 2, though?
Flip-flop.
they still got some chips, don't get me wrong, but
I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but I preferred Major League 2 to Major League.
that is pretty bad. Why?
I don't know. I just, well, part of it is that at the time I wasn't allowed to see R-rated movies, so I saw Major League 2 first because it was PG rated.
Okay, yes, I get it. You're younger than me.
I do sometimes worry about you. You prefer Major League 2 to Major League. The Man with the Golden Gun is your favorite Bond film. There's just a few kind of like quirks you have regarding movies which worry me slightly.
I'm unique.
That's one way to put it. That's what your mom called it, huh?
It's unique, special.
Special.
Yeah, different.
It's Romania.
That is Dana, the massage therapist. Don't ask how I know.
Sean the Dealer has got in touch on Twitter.
Yeah, all right.
For those of you who have been asking about his watch, he says it's a pink Casio G-Shock.
New York.
Along with the pin on my right collar, it's my subtle tribute to breast cancer awareness.
All right.
How much you have, Doc?
5.9.
It's hard to make that into a joke.
It's like 6.
Yeah, no.
Just giving you
That's
just in case.
good for him.
Cheese. Wait, look at the cheese before you act.
He is a good dealer too, by the way.
I mean, you just have to see that before
Cheese
you
is
drop
the
them all.
greatest.
Yeah, obviously cheese is the greatest.
In so many ways, he's the greatest.
Confirmed.
The best man. Cheese, you're the greatest in so many ways. Yeah, you did. What do you have then? Like 6.6?
Travis is a happy man. He says, I've got the PCA live stream on the computer, Knicks game on the iPad, Spurs game on the telly.
Also don't know. Yeah, it looks like there's like 14-7 in play.
Why don't you shuffle those up? Do the Knicks game on the television, the PCA live stream on the iPad, and the Spurs game on the computer.
Life goes on.
Good math.
Oh, no wonder they're all singing the praises of Tom Marchese. Showed up with a tray full of drinks.
Well, I don't need it. Because I got one in here, and then we got a camera.
Where's our tray full of drinks?
finally faded a river versus Kerry.
Carl Julius is claiming to not want that drink. Now that the cameras are off him, see what he does.
You can tell the people on Twitter if they want to give me a gratuitous college football update every once when someone scores. That would be great.
How are the Fighting Irish faring against Alabama? Chris needs to know. Hashtag at PCALive so it shows up on our timeline.
I think the game just started, so
240.
hopefully it's not too bad yet.
240 now.
Did Schulman just make it 240, I believe? Yep. Yeah, he did. Okay.
Saskaloon on Twitter says, it'd be nice to be there with you guys, enjoying a cold drink and some sun. It's cold here in Canada.
I'm just letting her know she.
We're inside in a booth.
I was going to say, if there's a cold drink and or sun anywhere, please let me know.
Yeah, there's no drinks back here, and it's not really.
Oh my God, is
warm.
that Zwally?
Here comes Justin Bonomo.
So a reminder of the exits we had earlier on. Hand number 3, a 3-way all in, and we said goodbye to Dan Shack. The very next hand, goodbye Vladimir Troinovsky, 10s into aces, not great timing. Hand number 6, goodbye Greg Jensen. Then we were 5-handed for quite some time before we lost Phil Gruesome. And then we played 4-handed for nearly 100 hands before Gary Katz was sent out the door in 4th.
Thank you.
Nobody looks better than Sean the dealer, though.
Well, obviously not.
I'm just gonna say.
Quick question for you, Chris, from Krishnan. It says, how much tougher is the competition now compared to back in 2003 when you won the main event?
Let's put it this way. I have a really, really good friend who was one of the top-rated world players in the world online in 05. He's selling cars now. That's not a joke. It's definitely tougher.
I'm sorry to laugh at your friend's misfortune.
He's got pretty thick skin. I just can't tell who it is.
Yes, that was a classic me move.
Notre Dame, let's go.
Is it a name we would know?
Yes, I would think so. If outside of poker, no. Inside of poker, yes.
Am I just gaming then?
You are gaming.
Because
Nick Shulman now below 20 bigs. By the way, 22 minutes on the level, and then there will be a 90-minute dinner break.
It'll be all the Notre Dame you can handle.
I mean, it's really awful.
Notre Dame.
It's one of the worst
I think
drinks
Chris
I've
is an
ever had,
Alabama
to be
fan.
honest.
Big blind.
I'm rooting for Alabama.
I'm lucky I even knew one of the teams that was playing in it.
What sports do you
what's in
watch?
it that's making it
None.
so bad?
It's interesting.
What's in it that's
You
making it
thought
so
Major League
bad?
2 was better?
I actually used to be into baseball when I was a kid, and
Really
then a
terrible.
strike happened when I was at a very seminal age.
Chris, kickoff is in 20 minutes time.
Really?
Yeah, so look at the clock. 21 minutes on the level. You will not miss a single play.
Whoever that was on Twitter, I love him.
That was
He pushed the game back 20 minutes ago.
I'm going to follow that person.
that was Brad Morrison.
Brad Morrison,
who tweets as @the Brad Morrison.
All right, at the Brad Morrison, I will follow you because you provide good information.
What an awesome free prize.
Could be a bad beat.
I think
I follow
that's-
you too.
No, I think that's great. No, I know it came out disingenuous. Oh boy. Don't think we're gonna see a call here. Nope. I would be super stoked to find out that Chris Moneymaker was following me. I am super stoked. I had no idea.
Do you follow me?
I don't.
See, that hurts.
Is that mine?
That hurts.
I follow very few people in general, actually.
I just start following random people. So. You just showed up one day on my thing, and I said, all right, whatever.
Oh, that's nice.
He's pretty funny sometimes.
Is there a camera? I mean, obviously.
I'm easily much funnier on Twitter than I am
Maybe I went like that.
live.
Can I get a? It's a 200.
You want 200?
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Apparently we had a break right there because there was a misplaced chip.
A little.
It was returned to Scott
Little bit.
Seaver.
Who are you going for? Ellen or?
You can just walk up there and punch him.
Papa Kachalov in
Got
the
no opinion
background.
on that one. Kind of rooting for Notre Dame.
All you gotta do is, look.
Cheering for his real
Oh, I
son,
didn't
Nick
even see
Shulman.
that.
Antonio Esfandiari played this event. Don't see him on the EPT too often. He brought his dad out here as well.
You want to sip before I give this to Cheese?
No, thanks.
Are they sharing drinks
I'm
at
still
the
gonna
table?
take a couple sips. Come on.
Boy, the poker world's incestuous.
Thank you. Work harder, though.
Quick hello to Megan, who says on Twitter, PCA Live is the finest viewing on the planet, especially with Christopher B. Moneymaker in the booth. Woo.
I paid her to tweet
Is
that.
B correct?
B's correct. Someone's
She
been on.
knows a lot about you. Do you have any aggressive female fans?
No, I don't think so. I hope not. Right after I won, I had one that was scary. But
After she boiled that rabbit, things calmed down.
yeah, actually, she almost fainted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was wearing a T-shirt with that picture on it. And
That's
she almost
kind of
fainted.
charming.
It was unique. It was different. A little scary. But
It's an unraised pot.
That's right. It's a limp and a check. Scott Seaver betting his wheel draw. I don't know if Doc thinks that we're not seeing his hands some of the time because he's re-showing them. I think maybe we're getting them from that other camera, and he's unawares.
Don't tell him.
I'm not telling him. Oh, wait, I guess I just sort of did.
We're going to have to say goodbye to Elias in Denmark. I have to go to bed now because I have to go to school in 4 hours. Thanks for now.
I like that.
You
Stay in
ruined his-
school.
He ruined his school day
Most of
tomorrow,
my schools are
probably.
medical.
Hey, at least he's going.
I keep forgetting. I mean,
Did you finish?
I did. I have a college degree and everything.
am I the only person who loses all track of time in Atlantis? I don't know what day of the week it is, and I keep forgetting that today's a Monday and not a weekend day.
No, you're not the only one. I think that's pretty common, actually.
That's honestly the reason why I never really got into sports was because I spent so much time in casinos. I had a really hard time keeping up with the outside world.
Well, that's why I did when I became a poker professional, to be honest. I felt like I would lose touch with the real world. Because when you're in a casino, as you know, it's sort of like every other day.
Yeah, I was into baseball for a while, and then in 2005 I started covering the World Series of Poker, and I was spending 5 to 6 weeks inside a casino, and I just never knew. I was like, oh, the All-Star game happened. Huh. And then eventually I was just like, okay, well, I guess I don't know anything about sports anymore.
It's definitely a different lifestyle change, and takes some getting used to. I don't even think you ever get used to it. You just sort of accept it.
Yeah.
You have no idea what day it is most of the time.
I didn't know what the Yankees scores were anymore, but I knew how many times 14 came up on the roulette wheel.
Hello to RF, who says, can I get a holler for watching all the way back in England where it's 1:30 in the morning? That is heart and commitment, he says.
Holla!
Is England one of the good ones?
Oh, yeah, definitely one of the good ones.
What are one of the bad ones?
Antarctica, Zamunda,
So he picked
Kyrgyzstan.
the
Valverde.
places that they cannot listen to us. You can't. It's a very PC answer, sir.
People have a lot of national pride. They're all good ones. One thing I realize is there are jerks from every country. Plenty of nice people in every country as well.
Yeah, but there's one country that has more jerks than anybody else.
And we are not going to name that country.
Just kidding, anyways. I just want to see what you would say.
All in announced.
I say, OMG, there's an all-in.
And he shows one of his foes. Could have been a 7 under there worth it.
Look at this guy in the orange is wearing a shirt directed at Doc Sands. He's standing right in Doc's eye line, too.
Got an email from B in Toronto. Nuts@pokerstars.tv is the email address, by the way. He says, guys, I would really appreciate a shout out before the dinner break. Say yo-yo to Michael Pac-Man. He will love it.
I think he'd probably appreciate it more from you, Chris.
What am I supposed to say?
Yo-yo to Michael Pac-Man.
Yo-yo to Michael Pac-Man.
Yeah, what up, word?
The Pac-Man.
Peace and chicken grease.
Someone told me I need to get a chicken in a bag down here, by the way. They said that's like the thing. Has anybody tried
At
that?
Atlantis or just it's like a Bahamian thing?
Bahamian thing.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds good. I'm a big fan of chicken.
Yeah,
Is it a live chicken?
I don't think so. They said they put like mayonnaise and hot sauce, and
That sounds great.
it sounded interesting. They said it's pretty famous down here.
Well, Chris was right. Action has not changed much.
No. Maybe when these guys get some food in their bellies, it'll put some fire in their bellies as well.
Yeah, because everyone tends to get energized after eating a huge meal.
I have a feeling this is going to be the norm for the rest of the tournament.
That's why we have blinds, ever increasing.
And Scott wanted to stall them, or stop them.
Yeah. Sorry, Scott, not happening.
I think the production staff was more upset than anybody else.
Now bear in mind, Chris, of course, on the European circuit, players start when they're 18 rather than when they're 21. So, for example, we've got Chris, who's now a regular poker player, who was 9 years old when you won the main event.
Are you just trying to make me
It's
feel
not,
bad?
yeah, that's not nice.
I'm just reading the tweets that people are sending in. They're taking the time and effort to send them in, so I feel it's only right to read them.
You're not supposed to read the mean tweets. I thought we had that in the contract.
Wasn't so much mean as a statement of fact.
That's pretty mean. I'm aware I'm not in my younger years anymore. My AARP card will be showing up shortly.
You're aging quite gracefully. Now you say something nice about me, Chris.
I was about ready to. You didn't give me a chance. I do age gracefully when I sit next to you.
The classic moneymaker backhand.
That was a compliment, sir.
Oh, yeah, no. Served up backhandedly.
I'm just sort of dumbfounded that you're younger than I am, to be honest. I mean, that's an honest statement of fact.
Do I really look that old?
Well, you look like Bigfoot right now, but you gotta.
I am quite hirsute, as they say.
No, I guess you don't look that old, but I thought you were at least my age.
240.
By the time of your age, I hope to be good at this job.
So we're now three-handed after we lost Carrie Catcham the tournament. Let's hear from our fourth place finisher.
You know what? I just got lucky. We had a lot of people bust early. I mean, like the first couple of hands, you had 3 outs, so that took all the pressure off. So it was pretty easy at that point. And you know, I got lucky. I got aces and doubled up against an ace-6, and also got lucky winning 2 races, including getting the card I needed on the river. So yeah, couldn't have gone better. Had a good time.
I think that also the way, you know how we're trying to come up with creative ways to describe Carrie's play. I think that personality-wise, if he wasn't such an affable guy who, you know, is extremely likable, maybe we call it a different way. But I think that when someone's out there and they're having fun and they seem to be pretty humble and just like they're having a good time, it's a lot easier to find creative ways to describe the play rather than, you know, ripping someone apart per se. I'm a fan of Carrie Katz. And like I always say too, I like it when there's someone at the table who isn't playing, you know, the quote-unquote optimal way, because it makes things a little more interesting when you have a bit of a wild card in there. In his case, he's not exactly wild, but he was playing differently, and I like that.
I also like it that he understands who he is. I mean, he
exactly
he
no ego there at all.
Yeah, no, that was a really good interview for him.
Dominic Winter tweets to say Chris's dialect is awesome. Greetings from Germany, where it's the middle of the night.
Germany, one of the good ones.
You have no shame.
Brad Morrison, who of course you started following on Twitter.
Brad Morrison.
My
sure.
internet doesn't work right now, but
well,
he will be getting the follow.
Brad Morrison says, if it makes Chris Moneymaker feel better, I was 31 when he won the World Series.
That does make me feel better. Brad gets the I'm going to actually give him a retweet of something clever he will say at one point now. Brad Morrison is my new friend.
Brad Morrison is now president of the Chris Moneymaker fan club.
Actually, I'm the president of his fan club now.
Chris is going to faint when he meets the Brad Morrison.
I might have to buy him into a World Series event now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not.
Brad Morrison is my new friend.
Yeah.
All right, I'll quit talking.
Brad Morrison just booked a plane ticket.
Team Axel?
Team Axel right there.
Yeah.
Can people at home hear this?
Yeah.
No, it's a family show, okay.
And they wonder why we're told to talk over the chat.
I mean, what part of the world should children be conceivably listening to this?
Yeah, I think 5'6".
I guess on the west coast of the U.S. it's still, and here too.
I was about to say here, where I live, my daughter could be listening to her
yeah.
daddy on the radio. Is the re-race coming?
Most of the rest of the world, you kids should be in bed.
Yes, it is. There is the 3-bet.
It's the first one since I've been in the booth that I've seen anything like.
Yeah, hasn't been a super aggro table at all today. Not a ton of light 3-betting. It just feels bizarre because we're so used to that at this point that there's been no click it back wars.
This could be the first one. I could see Doc going to a 4-bet here. This is a good spot for since they've been so slow developing anything. That doesn't look like it's showing his cards to the camera.
Looks like it was a 9-8.
Yep.
Luke tweets to say, guys, get Mad Harper in the booth. She's there all the time but doesn't do anything.
What is that even? That's not nice. She's one of the hardest working people in poker. Oh, I see. Luke was the one that Mad was needling on Facebook, showing him the view from her room. Luke didn't make it out this year.
It's a really good spot for Scott to 3-bet, by the way. They're just, for anybody watching at home, with a 20 big blind stack in the tournament. Both of them having big stacks. You know, with Nick being so short, it really puts a lot of pressure on the other guy. Just saying.
My silence means I agree.
No, we can go back to comedy now. It's more fun. That's why I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that from these two.
You know, I haven't watched Doc play a ton, but, you know, I've seen Scott play a considerable amount, and he's certainly been more reserved today.
I've played with Doc several times, and, I mean, he's definitely obviously got that. Wow, okay. I like Doc's hand.
Let's see how much Scott's going to fire into the abyss.
Yeah, this is not going to turn out very well for him.
Chris, you like a call in this spot?
Oh, of course.
Let Scott fire again?
Of course.
Wow, especially because he's going to think he has the best hand.
The good thing is Scott can never put sands on king-queen here. He checked behind the big blind. I mean, he can put him on a king, like king 4 or something like that, but it'd be impossible to put him on king-queen almost. But it's a really good spot for him, obviously. What was the turn card?
It was a tray ball.
So okay. They got the wrong.
Yeah, the 3 is the turn.
I thought it was the 3 hearts, and it showed up in Seaver's hand. And
Yeah.
I got really confused.
Someone misclicked. Happens to the best of us, Chris.
Scott did, in fact, fire again.
I expect another call.
I think anything Doc does in the spot's going to look pretty strong.
Well, Scott's kept it small. I mean, he could call with a pretty decently wide range here. So, a lot of draws and even pairs.
The doctor! Let's go! I love Shulman, though. I can't help it.
Is that Carl Julius making all that
I'm
noise?
glad he turned down that other drink.
We know that Scott's other card is a black 4. We're just not sure what suit it is.
I got to know what that suit is before I can make analysis.
I'm good enough. I don't need to know the suit.
Scott thinks he's value betting.
I think Scott just wants to see this as cheap as possible. He's going to get bad news soon.
$120 left on the clock. This could be the last hand of the level. Just a quick reminder that we'll bid adieu to Chris Moneymaker. He's off to watch the BCS National Championship. We'll be back in 90 minutes time after the dinner break when it looks like they will continue three-handed here at the Super High Roller final table.
Well, something could happen here. You could lose one. I don't think it's going to happen. But Doc will probably make it 900 to $1 million right here. It's been a pleasure, guys. I really appreciate this time we have together every year.
Sounds like you're joking, but I...
No, that
okay,
was
good, because
that was legitimate.
I do appreciate it as well.
No, that was
I always
legitimate.
have a good time with you in the booth.
No, it is always entertaining.
There's the bad news.
There is the raise to $1,070,000.
Worst news coming if Scott doesn't find a fold here.
I would definitely think he's going to find a fold here. I would be surprised.
Meanwhile, those of you playing in the PCALive free roll will be aware of this, that it's on the bubble after 1 hour and 21 minutes of play.
But Scott's bet was so small, do you think there's a chance he levels himself into thinking that he sort of induced this raise?
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's definitely that thought. That's why, you know, if I was going to make the bet, I would probably made it closer to 450. That way I would know when the raise was made that it would be time to go. He could definitely level himself here, but...
I think this is by no means an easy fold.
No, I wouldn't say it's an easy fold. Just, you know, playing... We've had the benefit of seeing all the cards, but Doc hasn't got out of line once since I've been in the booth.
He lets it go.
Nice job, Scott.
All right, guys. That was fun.
Thank you, Chris.
Moneymaker, thank you very much indeed. He's off to watch some football. Joe and I are off to eat some dinner, as are the players. So 90-minute dinner break now, and then play will continue. Three-handed here at the final table of the 100K Super High Roller. Those three players being the chip leader, Scott Seaver, David Doc Sands, and Nick Schulman.